Okay, so here we are. Again, this is not my 3DS, this is my girlfriend's 3DS. This is actually my favorite version of the 3DS. I'll probably try to track down the blue one for myself. But, again, I have never been like a huge fan of the 3DS. Okay, it's not really a secret. I always thought that the PSP was a better handheld console than the Nintendo 3DS. And definitely better than the DS. But anyway, I've been kind of changing my opinion slightly, just ever so slightly, at least growing in curiosity thanks to YouTube channels like Joe Casey and Zap Crystal and Mr. Rightway, Gaming Off the Grid. Channels like that have been really going heavy on 3DS content, especially in the last year. I told you guys during that time, though, to leave the 3DS alone because the market was red hot at that point. They were selling like even base model 3DSs for like $300, and people were really getting reamed on paying those prices. The price of games are also quite out of control, and now I think is a better time to start looking at the 3DS because a lot of that initial pandemonium has calmed down a little bit. You can go on the used market like eBay, buy 3DSs now, even the XLs, for anywhere between around the 150 average, which isn't a terrible price. It's closer to where prices were pre-pandemonium, when they were going for $300 to $500 for a console. And even if you go in the game stores now and buy them used, they're still trying to get them off for like high 100s to low 200 range. But yeah, honestly, I think Facebook Marketplace, eBay is a better bet for buying the console right now, which is what I did. Found this guy on Facebook Marketplace. It was a town about an hour away. He was selling this console for $60, and I had a few games with it too. And so I, just hopped in the car and went and scooped it up. Got this, like I said, great price, $60. Had this console. It's a regular black one. I wish it was a limited edition one, but still pretty cool. It's a 3DS XL with all of the features, and it came with a nice case with some games in it. We'll take a look more at those games at a live stream, but I just kind of wanted to give you my initial thoughts on this console. I haven't really looked at it that much. I played a little bit of Mario Kart 7, which is why it's in here, because Mario Kart is my jam. But I just want to kind of give my initial thoughts on the console now that I'm going to start collecting for it. Maybe. We'll see. Anyway. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the ergonomics of the 3DS. Again, it's got a good size screen. I like the clamshell design of it, okay? It does get a little off balance. It kind of feels a little off balance. They actually did really well with what they were working with. Of course, it's a dual screen, so it has to open up like that. But that's kind of the difference between using that and then something like a PSP or a Vita, or even like the old Game Boy Advance, where it was just kind of one slab. You didn't have to worry about that weight on the top, kind of. You know what I mean? But again, I like the design of it. I think it looks pretty good. It's a sleek looking console. Got a built-in camera and all of that. I don't have much issues with it. Okay, the newer 3DS XLs come with the analog stick. The analog stick is actually really nice on this. The analog sticks kind of remind me of, I don't know what they remind me of, but they work really well. It's a nice little sliding tab. It's definitely better than the analog stick on the PSP, for instance, and I'm not trying to compare them. We'll do that eventually. It also has like a second analog stick though, and that one's just this little knob of a thing. That's kind of weird. I'm gonna turn the sound down, but that's, I don't know. I haven't tried any first-person shooters with this console yet, so I don't know how that works in practice, but again, ergonomically, the console's okay. It's gonna do the job for you just fine. Alright, so here, now that I got the unit in my lap, let's go ahead and take a look at it. So, we've talked about the ergonomics a little bit now. Let's go ahead and crack into the console itself. And so, I've got the 3D Let me turn down the 3D. Okay, turn it off actually, which I do like that. I do like the option. You can have it low, you can put it up all the way, or you can just straight up turn it off. And I like that, because sometimes I don't always want to look at that. Sometimes the 3D just messes with my eyes. So, like I said, here's our main interface, and I do like the interface. It's nice and clean. It's well designed. All of the sound effects and everything, I like all the sound effects that come with it. Like I said, nothing compares to like that happy like Nintendo music. But anyway, like I said, here we go. We got a bunch of applications right off the rip here, including a camera function, which I'll have to take a look at more later. The PlayStation Vita has a camera as well, so we might have to compare those at some point, kind of see what ideas each company came up with for their camera system. But here's our game, some Mario Kart here. Again, I like it. I'm not gonna lie, I like it. And like I said, let's take a look at it. One of my issues with this, again, I apologize for the way I'm recording it. There is no great... Oh. Let's turn that down a little bit. There is no great way for recording 3DS gameplay, okay? Not an easy... Like I said, it's not an easy way anyway. Which is... My biggest pet peeve with the 3DS is that you can't cast it to a television. I'm just clicking through here. It's going to start it. And like I said, I wish you could. That would make this definitely much more enjoyable. But again, it would basically be the Switch at that point, right? So, you know, that was probably a lot of it. But honestly, I think every handheld should have the ability to cast to a television. But yeah, graphics on this are solid. But again, that's to be expected with first-party titles. Wow, how you gonna do me like that? That was disrespectful. Still in first place though. But anyway, you know, you get an idea of how it looks. Okay, next up, I'm looking at an app called Nintendo 3DS Sound, and it looks like it's just like a basic sound recorder. You can record a bunch of, you know, just sounds. It's got a headphone jack, so I plugged in this little Rode microphone and just gonna see if I can record some stuff, and we'll see how it sounds. I played with it for a second. Looks like you can record 10-second clips, and here we go. Okay, tap to start. Here we go. Alright, you gotta keep it real like Joe Casey playing Fortnite on Xbox and PlayStation. Okay, that's what it is. Oh, okay, recording complete. Tap OK to save. And the recording is being saved. And now I can play it back and see what we get. Alright, you gotta keep it real like Joe Casey playing Fortnite on Xbox and PlayStation. That's what it is. Alright, you gotta keep it real like Joe Casey playing Fortnite on Xbox. Okay, so yeah, just a little sound. I could see how kids could have fun just messing around with that and making weird sounds and all the stuff that they do. And lastly, so far, I think the game library is pretty good. It's not just all, you know, simple kiddie games. They actually reached out. They got really good third-party support with the 3DS, and so they've got a bunch of different perspectives, a lot more adult themes with their games, a lot more deeper and complex games on the 3DS, and prices have definitely come down for most games. If you're looking for like Pokemon games and things like that, you're still going to be paying for those. But like I said, there's a ton of games on the 3DS now that are hovering around, you know, the $20 to $30 mark, which isn't the cheapest. It's not PSP prices, but it's not Vita prices, and so that's important. I think that to know that for the most part prices have come down. Again, as with all Nintendo consoles, those first party titles are going to cost you more than anything else, and that's always Nintendo. Like, you know, your Mario games, your Pokemon games, your Legend of Zelda games, all those are going to cost more than, you know, a lot of the other stuff that you can get from EA or Ubisoft or whatever on the system. So just know that. if I get to collecting some more of these, we'll have to take a look at some games that you can buy that are $20 and less, and so we'll just start diving in. But all in all, man, the 3DS, it's not something I'm going to be collecting for hardcore, but if I see a good 3DS game or an interesting looking one for a great price, I'll definitely scoop it up. I don't think I'm going to be playing this like all the time, because again, I just like a console that can cast to the television. I think every handheld console should be able to have a function where you can play its games on the TV, and I think that that's the Nintendo 3DS's biggest downside with me. I do appreciate backwards compatibility. I didn't mention that. You can play DS games on the 3DS, and Nintendo's always been pretty good about that. With the DS, you could play Game Boy Advance games, and of course with Game Boy Advance games, you can play all Game Boy games on that. So for the most part, Nintendo's always been really good about that. So yes, that also opens up the library more, because there are great DS games that are quite cheap right now that look and play great on your 3DS. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I got for you. Let's talk about in the comment section below. Questions, comments, concerns, threats. What do you guys think about the 3DS? Did you wait? Did you buy 3DS gear during that whole pandemonium and, get took for all your money? Or are you, again, if you waited like I suggested, the prices, it's definitely much more friendlier to dive into 3DS collecting here in mid-2023 than it was in early 2022. So, keep that in mind. But anyway, that's all I got for you. If you do like this content, go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. You'll be glad you did. Do believe that's all I got for you. Lightsaber Samurai out, and peace.